Alright, I'm about 30 hours deep into the Burning Shores and have beaten it on both ultra hard and very hard, and I can say without a doubt, it is tough. Basically, if you take all the hardest machines from the Forbidden West, make them predominantly Apex variants, and scatter them together in a smaller, tighter area, you get the Burning Shores. I mean, come on, a Thunderjaw and a Slaughterspine right next to each other? Not cool. Although I do admit, it does look pretty sweet, so at least I can enjoy the view as I glide down to certain death. Personally though, I love the increased difficulty. It forces me out of my comfort zone and challenges me to take a fresh look at some new tools and new weapons and test out some new strategies. So here's my top 8 essential tips and tricks for conquering the Burning Shores. And if you like this video, be sure to give a like and consider subscribing to my channel. My channel is still pretty new, and I'm not above begging for likes and subscribes. Seriously though, as a small-time content creator, every like, comment, and subscribe means the world to me. Okay, now let's jump in. I think probably the biggest reason why the Burning Shores is so much more difficult is because you're not typically just facing a single machine one-on-one. You're usually fighting multiple machines at the same time. And don't we all just love that feeling of being bounced around without a chance to dodge, heal, or even know what's hitting you or from where? Seriously, this is so frustrating. So tip number 1, crowd control is key. The idea here is simple in concept, but can be difficult to execute. What we want to do is take some of the machines out of the fight so we can combat others one-on-one and give ourselves a better chance. So how do we do that? Tip number 2, use a Ropecaster. A Ropecaster is a great tool for pinning down machines. And once a machine is tied down, they'll be down for up to 90 seconds, which is an eternity. You can use this time to reposition yourself, heal, craft some ammo, strategize your next move, tear off some upgrade components, or just focus on a different machine in a one-on-one battle without other machines getting in the way. Take this for example. This is a move I like to call Mom and Dad are talking. You basically tie the surrounding machines down, or rather put them in a timeout, so you can focus your firepower on just one machine. This is super effective at thinning out the crowd. Now personally, I thought Ropecasters were awesome before the Burning Shores. My go-to was the Elite Ropecaster, but with the DLC release, they got way more powerful. For one, we now have the Tie That Binds Legendary Ropecaster. Because it's a legendary weapon, it has 2 more coils and 3 additional perks, which make it great for pinning down machines. Next, they've added the Ropecaster Expert skill. This skill allows you to shoot another rope to quickly re-tie down a machine once it's recovered from its previous tie-down state. When you see the tied down symbol turn red, that means you can shoot another rope to instantly tie the machine back down for a short amount of time. And you can combo this with the new Machine Grapple Strike skill, followed by a Resonator Blast for even more damage. But one thing to note about tied down machines, the length of time the machine is tied down for correlates to the amount of damage it takes while it's tied down. So the more damage you do, the faster the tie down state deteriorates and the quicker the machine gets up. That's why I only like to use the Grapple Strike on a machine when the tie down state is almost done. Or when I've used the Ropecaster Expert skill and the machine isn't tied down for very long to begin with. It's a great way to get one big hit of damage in before the machine gets back in the fight. To sum it up, use the Ropecaster and you'll thank me later. Tip number 3, use Berserk. Now if you're like me, rarely if at all did you use Berserk in the Forbidden West. Which is why I found it a bit surprising that in the Burning Shores, not only did we get the Emperor's Reign, a legendary hunter bow that comes with Berserk ammo, but we also got the Berserk Blast Valor Surge, which basically sends out a blast that triggers the Berserk status in nearby machines. At first, I was a little skeptical of using it, but it quickly became my go-to, especially when trying to thin out a crowd. I like to run right in the middle of the crowd, get the machines all riled up, and then trigger the Berserk Blast. Once the Berserk status is inflicted, the machines will basically turn on each other. But a word of caution, they'll still attack you too, so it makes more sense to move to a safe distance and watch the machines fight it out for a while. Or take advantage this time to take a big shot on a distracted machine. Tip number 4, use smoke bombs. Now smoke bombs were introduced to us in the Forbidden West and are very effective at crowd control. I use smoke bombs whenever I'm in a pinch. They help you reset the fight if you're feeling surrounded, or give you a chance to heal, or otherwise just get away and find some cover. And in the Burning Shores, we get the new skill in the Trapper skill tree, Smoke Bomb Heal. With this skill, not only do you get cover from the smoke bomb, but you also get back a little bit of health while you're in the cloud. So don't be afraid to use smoke bombs to gain an advantage. Tip number 5, optimize your toolbar. Okay, so let's just talk about your quick swap item toolbar. I think we can all collectively agree that this part of Horizon is a bit of a mess. Hopefully it's something that they improve on with Horizon 3. But that still shouldn't stop you from keeping it organized. You shouldn't have to flip through a huge inventory of things you never use to get to the potion you're looking for. And in the heat of the battle, this just doesn't work. I like to have only 5 or 6 items in mind tops, so I can get to what I need when I need it quickly. To better organize your toolbar, hold down on the D-pad and then press square for change and then unequip the item. Do this with all of the items you don't need at that moment. I usually reserve my toolbar for health, stamina, and cleanse potions, smoke bombs, and my mounts. Another trick to help keep your toolbar organized, when you're refilling your inventory from your stash, don't restock all categories. Instead, go to each category you want to refill and restock from there. This will keep unwanted items from continually popping back up in your toolbar. Now tip number 6, use multiple different Valor surges. Throughout the Forbidden West, I basically just used 2 Valor surges. Critical Boost, which increases your chances of landing critical hits, and Range Master, which gives you a damage boost to range weapons like my Sharpshot Bow. These were my go-to Valor surges for pretty much every scenario. But with the increased difficulty in the Burning Shores, I find myself switching between Valor surges a lot more often, and sometimes even swapping them out mid-fight. Take this Water Wing fight for example. I started by using Berserk Blast to get them to turn on each other, and hopefully do a little bit of damage. I also took advantage of them being distracted to tie a couple of them down with my Ropecaster. Next, I switched to Elemental Fury so I could quickly build up the Elemental Burn status, which they're weak to. And finally, when I had them more one-on-one, I'd use Critical Boost coupled with my Bolt Blaster and the Sustained Burst weapon technique to deal maximum damage. And if you're using the upgraded Quen Marine armor with the +2 Valor Surge Master like I am, you'll be able to build up Valor even faster, so you can take advantage of the Valor Surges more often and experiment with different ones in different scenarios. This leads me to tip number 7. Use coils and weaves that complement the skills your weapons and armor already have. Now I often get asked, what are the best coils for my weapons and what are the best weaves for my armor? This definitely has a lot to do with your particular playstyle. But here's the rule of thumb I usually use for myself. Look at what the armor or weapon already specializes in and boost those skills. Personally, I'd rather have a weapon that specializes in one great thing than just does kind of a bunch of things so-so. Let's take a look at my Tears of the Land God Hunter Bow as an example. You'll see that the perks that it comes with are 25% long range damage, 20% concentration damage, 15% overdraw damage, 65% draw speed, and 25% component tear. Now, because I don't typically use my hunter bow at long range, boosting the 25% long range damage doesn't really do much for me. And the 65% draw speed already seems pretty good, so let's focus on boosting the other skills. I equip my hunter bow with 3 12% tear damage coils to complement the 25% component tear it already has, and 2 15% overdraw coils to boost the 15% overdraw damage it already has. What I end up with is a hunter bow that is great for tearing components off machines and getting rid of armor plates so I can use my other weapons, like my Bolt Blaster or Sharpshot Bow, to deal maximum damage. Now, elemental weapons like the Sun Scourge Hunter Bow are a bit of an exception. For elemental weapons, I typically like to go all in on one particular element. Like here, where I've equipped it with 5 15% fire damage coils, making it a great weapon against any machine that's weak to fire damage, like the Water Wing. With armors and weaves, the same principle applies, but a word of caution, there is a max limit to how much of one skill you can apply. Take the upgraded Quen Marine for example. It already comes with +2 levels of Concentration Plus, which puts me at the max level, which is 4. If I apply the Elite Concentration Weave, giving me 1 more level of Concentration Plus, I'm now over the max limit, and that weave is basically being wasted. You can see by pressing R2 that the game is basically telling me that I'm over the max skill, and I should probably use a different weave. And finally, our last tip, tip 8, putting all these tips together and maximizing your weapon loadout. Our weapon wheel has 6 available weapon slots, so I like to organize mine so that I'm prepared for whatever might come next, and I'm not having to constantly swap weapons in and out. So here's my current weapon wheel loadout and coils. I like to have my hunter bow, which I primarily use to tear off machine parts and components. I'm currently using the fully upgraded Tears of the Land God hunter bow with the coils that we saw earlier. Next, I like to have one weapon with frost and another with shock. Those are, in my opinion, the 2 most valuable elements in the game. For frost, I'm using the upgraded Sunscourge hunter bow with 5 15% frost damage coils. And for shock, I'm using my favorite weapon, the Ancestor's Return Shredder Gauntlet, with 4 15% shock coils and 1 15% agility damage coil to complement the 25% agility damage perk the Shredder Gauntlet already has. So if you ever see me live on stream jumping around like a crazy person while throwing shredders, it's because I'm attempting to take advantage of that agility damage boost. Next, I have my Sharpshot bow, Gravesinger's Lament, which I typically use at distance to deal heavy damage. So I have it equipped with 2 15% concentration damage coils and 3 15% overdraw damage coils. Next, I like to have another weapon that I can rely on to deal heavy damage, which is typically either my Bolt Blaster or my Spike Thrower. Currently, I'm using my upgraded Blast Forge Bolt Blaster equipped with 2 25% close range damage coils, 2 15% critical hit chance coils, and 1 25% draw speed coil. The 6th spot in my weapon wheel is typically the one I'll swap out most often, just depending on the machine I'm fighting, or if I'm just trying to experiment with something new like my Spectre Gauntlet. Currently though, I'm using my trusty Ropecaster, the tie that binds, with 3 25% draw speed coils and 2 25% reload coils. I find that with this loadout, I'm pretty much prepared for a fight no matter what machine comes charging at me next. And those are my top 8 tips and tricks to help you conquer the Burning Shores, or anything else that the Horizon universe throws at you. I hope this was as fun for you as it was for me. And if any of these tips helped, feel free to let me know in the comments below. Or if you have any other tips that have helped you along the way, feel free to share. Thanks, and I'll see you on the next one.